Okay, so I think we're good. We're not getting any disconnections, so it seems like it's a good stream. So I'll just wait for a few more to come on board. Let's just check what's going on. Cool. Okay, so yeah, we're all good. So I said I wouldn't come on unless something happened, and you know, some stuff has happened. We'd have this big rally, and I'm more and more convinced that this is, while not the last rally, you know, this is still very positive in terms of BTC. And hey, morning, Roddy. Thank you. Morning to you. It's 3 o'clock here in the UK. And the more I look at this, you know, I just feel. So what's driving this? I mean, you will get Lewis probably doing a subscribers only stream at some stage tonight or tomorrow about this. But really, I'm looking at the weekly stochastic and going, oh, hello. We've still got plenty of room here. I'm looking at the 3-day and we're halfway up. I'm looking at the daily and it's looking a little toppy. Everything south of daily is overbought, false bar. So for me, we need another dip before we can rally, and there are two areas which I think are of interest. First of all is around 23, and the next one's around 22.5. And people within the Discord will know why I think 23, especially if I come to the 4 hour. So for me, there is liquidity there, which it looks to find. And also, I always find the middle of any channel is a useful point. You can see how it's reacted here and here and here and here. So the middle of the channel is also, so I'm thinking, you know, confirmation will be if we hit either of these two spots and go better. So if we hit there and then do this, or hit here and then do this, you know, I'm thinking that's probably confirmation and I'm happy to go long. Now, as you know, I'm already long based on a DCA strategy, so I don't need to do this, but I did say that when we think it's time, we'll tell you. So what you're looking for is a pattern like this, either this or this. Now there's nothing stopping it just taking off from here, you know, but we can't, you know, can't legislate for everything. Now if it breaks clean through and heads to the south again, I'd say, well, wait, you know, see if it breaks this. I wouldn't, you know, so while it feels good, it's the stochastics mainly that are telling us it's got to come off, it's got a level of dip. But, you know, we'll talk about a little bit more like the composite operator or composite man on the subscribers stream. I'm sure Lewis will talk a little bit more about that. But suffice it to say that, you know, I think it does need to come off first before going better. You know, yesterday I was saying, you know, this is bullish, still looks bullish to me. And now it looks even more bullish to me, and it will look even more bullish if we do get a slight reset before go. And that's kind of what I wanted to say. I really don't have much else to talk about on Bitcoin, but I did say that when we thought it was time, we would let you know, and I think it is getting to time where so let's go out now. I'm going to delete all that nonsense, and what I'm going to say is if we move back to, say, a daily plot. So what are we looking at? You know, here is ATH, all-time high. I think the chances of it breaking through this area are quite slim on the first one. So you may end up with a rally, followed by a retest of where we are now. But the next stop will be much more interesting because it's targeting this sort of area. You know, high 40s, early 50s. And it wouldn't surprise me in the least to go higher. And you would expect, you know, either this followed by this, or even targeting this with the first go and then back to here followed by a proper push. And you know, this would be in the grand ABC. I wonder if it's actually still on here. Let's go back to my Elliott Wave stuff. God, it's been so long. Yeah, so if this is A, then we're looking for a B, and you know, this is where we see B, 50 odd. Obviously it won't be plain sailing. You'll get a rally followed by a drop followed by a rally, because you know that's just the way the market is. And then C, who knows where C is? You know, once we see B, then we'll know where C is. So 4 is either here or where C is, and we're not sure which yet. But either way, we're either in. I mean, there are lots of people who think this is A, B, C, and this is the C here. We think it's A, B, C, but we could be wrong. Either way, we're bullish and remain so. So that's it. You know, long story short, another little withdrawal, and it's mainly the stochastics that's telling us this. So on the daily, we're getting towards the overbought area. So we're thinking that perhaps it needs to mark time for a bit, or perhaps go south a bit. But on the weekly, we've got plenty of room for a rally. And it's been noticeably quiet. You know, Twitter sphere has been most noticeably quiet. All the people said the doomsayers are quietening down now, because the doomsayers were very active here. You know, oh yeah, it's all going down to 10,000. We stood there and said, no, we don't think it's going to. We still think not, and we still think it goes better. And I know yesterday I said, you know, you've got to be patient and wait. And it could be, you know, 70 times 4, 280 days before it does this. But actually this is feeling good enough. This is feeling good enough. So, you know, if you're a short-ish term and you want to ride the B, you know, I wouldn't put you off getting on here, but I would say watch first. So reiterating what I was saying, you do want to see it come to one of these lines first and then go better. And once you see the rebound and go better, then I think you should feel reasonably bullish, and I wouldn't put you off buying it. So moving to the chat, Rowdy says, good morning. Morning, Rowdy. K-Man Fergie, thanks, Paul. Can you check Polymetal Inc., Russian mining company? My God. Russian and mining. There's two news stories there. Let's look at price only. Polymetal Inc. Let me just check, see if there's any TV chat. No, nothing. Okay, so Polymetal. And let's switch to stocks. I guess Polymetal. I'm going to go Inc. because it's probably listed on more than one place. The Russian exchange, or we've got, yeah, let's do the Russian exchange. Oh Christ, I hope you're not long this. Let's have a look at the monthly and see what's the big picture. Oh, so I don't know what news caused this, but you are in what's known as the value area. And so, you know, nothing in the world would convince me to sell this, but you do have to pick your moment to buy it, because, you know, clearly things are not good. Whatever's going on here is not good. However, it is reaching the point where, you know, if you're ever going to buy it, now is probably the time. Is there anything we can see on a... No, it's still in a massive downtrend. Let's go to the daily. God. I have absolutely no idea what's going on in this one. All I would say is that, you know, you're now in the area where... let's have a look at the favourite indicator. So this is where everyone got excited and bought it and now regrets it. They've done that before. They've done it here. And you can see how the indicator tells you some useful information. So look at that bounce there, like millimeters away from there. And so you could have ridden that back up. What is that in percentage terms? So if you picked out that volume, there was a 50% trade in that, which you'd have chickened out of early. And even if you'd sold it there, there's a gap here. So it's obviously suspended for some reason. Anyhow, there's news. I can't really give much insight into that one, because all I would say is, you know, if it is part of, and it's not bust, then you're probably at good levels. However, it does look like it's a bit of a sheep shitter. That's it from Caveman Fergie. Is there anybody else who wants to ask anything? I mean, I've got to keep this going for Oh, it's already 10 minutes. Don't blather on. It's a Friday. I don't normally do Fridays because nothing much goes on. Is there anything much? Yeah, Aussie USD is something that we all care about. At least we do in our Discord, which is the main thing. And it's, I've missed that, you know. I had a bid in at 03, which is there. It's gone to 10 and gone higher. Oh well, I'll leave the bid in for now. We're still waiting for this to come back for a 2. But I'm just literally killing time here. I just wanted to get across that Bitcoin, we're feeling good about this. Now, it either goes from here, or it comes back here and goes, or comes back here and goes. So if you want to be careful, wait for one of these to be hit and bounce off. Because don't forget, you know, if it hits these, then hits this, and then carries on going down, then you might want to hang on to your ammo. But in general, it feels good to us, and it's got to go at some stage, and now's as good as any. And I guess we're waiting for that. Cayman Ferg, if you have time in video, yeah, we can do that. Golly, I've looked at this, obviously. I can never remember when I look at these things and what I do. Oh, this doesn't look bad, does it? I must have looked at this months ago. Let's just. So what do we got here? Let's just work out if this makes any sense. There's no significant pullback, so you have to call that a 3. You have to call that a 4, and then you have to start looking and saying to yourself, does any of this make sense? It's all very well to draw this stuff on the chart, but let's go and look at some fibs. So if we take that to that to that, that's a 4.618. You know, after about 2.618, you are kind of thinking to yourself, what the hell? Okay, so what input do I have that is useful? I would say that if we call that, I mean, that looks, I must admit the drop since then looks more like a 5, but it's still there. Most of these, like 70 odd %, are 5-wave moves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, possibly. It's a tiny bit hard to tell. Overall, it's going to be ruled a little bit by what's going on in the markets in general. Now, in general, I'd say that the US 500 has had a dip, and now this is something I've written about. In fact, let's go to let's just do this and show you what I wrote. Now, parts of this look good and parts of them don't. Let's go to this one here, where what I'm talking about, if we play this on, it's gone deeper than I thought. What I'm talking about here is a rally and a short squeeze caused by the fact that we ought to be in a recession, and yet results are super good. And I think we are actually in this phase now where we may see some significant rally here to a new all-time high or further, just driven by fear and short squeeziness. So if we go to S&P 500, what's going on? Why is it? Let's shrink that back to a more sensible thing. I'm going to get rid of all the analysis because it's kind of out of it. Actually, is it? You know, if that's a Wyckofian situation, this actually doesn't look like too bad a Wyckoff. I mean, I've obviously done this some while ago. Let's come into the daily and see what it looks like. So we're now challenging this top half again. So you do have a chance of going higher. Let's have a look at what we're on a daily. We're overbought. Weekly still room. So yeah, I mean, the market as a whole looks like it's going to do one of these. Well, let's not go ahead of ourselves. Might do one of these, and then we have to watch, does it do this or do this afterwards? And of course that's going to help drive Nvidia. Let's go back to that. And so is the 4 in, is the question. Well, it's a legal 4 because the one's way down here at 71 and we're at for is currently a 141. So if you're looking to get long it, I would say, well, wait, because if this is the one of the 4-5, obviously that 5 goes much higher, certainly up. If this is that, then you're going to get the 2. Meaning this will be a 5 wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you're going to get a 2 pullback if this is impulsive enough and if it's going to behave. And if it doesn't behave, then, we don't have as much information as we'd like to trade. That's all I will say. You need to have as much information as you can to trade. And if stuff isn't fitting the pattern, why trade it? I mean, that's one of the reasons we do Aussie USD, because it tends to fit the pattern better than others. Rowdy Roddy says, you mind giving DXY a once over? Well, DXY, yeah, sure. Let's do it. So this is all bound up with what we think is happening. So let's go back to Aussie USD just for context. So we're expecting a pullback, and we are getting part of one. And when it pulls back, it means DXY must be going better, and it is today. And so you've got to ask yourself, where do you think it goes? Now, I do actually have volume on this chart. So if we go back to say here, so there's an awful lot of interest. That is a really big spike here. And so it is going to stay around here, and it's going to be drawn to here. So even if you get dropping, so here's an obvious spot where it was aiming for, and it hasn't reached it yet. And I don't know, I still think it will reach that. So for me, I think it carries on down, and then it comes up and looks for this level again. That's what I think DXY, because that kind of fits. And I know I'm kind of fitting it to what I want to happen in AU, but actually, how else would you look at it? DXY is the strength of the dollar. So life looks easy at the moment. Stocks are up. It's risk on. Dollar's going to drop. And then I don't know what news will come out next week or 2 weeks' time, and the dollar gets strong again. I don't know. It's all weak. It was all weak because of, the people will say this, all weak because of the Fed chat yesterday and the day before, and people are expecting more, and now it's all rallied again. This is not unexpected. This is the way the market takes money out of you. So the news comes out that the Fed isn't as hawkish. Okay, the dollar drops. Everyone sells it, thinking, right, this is it. And of course, the big boys know, and they just buy it. And you're left nursing losses. You get stopped out. Rowdy Roddy says, awesome seeing similar. Good, I'm glad you are. It means the eye is being trained. But the way it's been driven, just look at the whole way the market fits together, and the news flow is something you should avoid. Trading on news never made me a penny. Jawad A says, hi Paul, thanks for the stream. Mind taking a look at Dusk USD? Yes, of course. No idea what it is, but I can tell you that if it's old enough, it might be interesting. So how many weeks of info? Oh, we got reasonable amounts. Goes back to August 2019. So here's the standard shitcoin shill drop, despondency. Oh shit, it might be worth something. Wow, it's super important. This is a really big thing, and it's going to be the new greatest thing. It's now shrunk 90% since then. But you're back in the area where obviously there's panic everywhere. This is quite interesting. There's presumably some news flow. 30. What are we on weekly? Let's have a look at daily. I'm not sure what that news spike was on the 13th of June. But all it was news, getting people excited, then to stuff them again. So the trouble is with this, it's not well known enough, not institutionalized, so it's a bit tough for me to analyze. But again, I would say Bitcoin's going up in my opinion, therefore I would not short this. There you go, there's my dusk thought, Jawade. Wolfpack agrees. I don't know what you agree, that is on TradingView. I don't know what you agree with, but I agree with you, whatever it is. Okay, so I'll give you another, I'm going to count to 30, and if there's no more people saying please talk about this, then I will call it for the weekend, and I want you all to have a lovely weekend. I want you all to understand that trading is not something you have to stare at all day. I hopefully will do 3 or 4 trades in the next 12 months, and they will make enough money for me to keep me alive. Jawade says, thank you, Paul. No problem, man, no problem. Okay, so that's it. Have a great weekend. Obviously, if it all goes mental, I will be on over the weekend and do a quick stream just to so have a look back, and if you need advice, hopefully I'll be on. If nothing really happens, then don't expect to see me till Monday or Tuesday next week. Tuesday certainly, Monday if something happens. Okay, I hope you have a great weekend. Try not to look at the charts too much.